All right, so number 1 says points that lie on the same plane. What are those called? Coplanar. Good. Number 2, it's shaped like a floor made of 3 non-collinear points. That is a plane. Good. A plane is a flat surface like a floor. Number 3, points in space that's represented by a dot. A point, that's L. Very good. Number 4, points that lie on the same line. Collinear. Good, that's J. Number 5, an angle that measures between 0 and 90. E is acute. Number E is acute. Yeah, 0 to 90 is acute. If it's made up of 2 points and extends indefinitely in both directions, which one is that? A line. Good. Now later on you're supposed to draw a line. So if you get the vocabulary right and it has a picture of the line with the 2 arrows on the ends, when you get down to the question where you're drawing a line, make sure it looks like that. But in the reverse, if you get it wrong up on the vocab, then you're kind of going to get it wrong both times. So careful with that, but it might help you. Consists of 1 endpoint and extends indefinitely in one direction. That's a ray, which is A. Good.
Is that E or I? I can't tell.
That's a
What are you talking about?
That's a J.
Number 4 is J.
Now why does it have a long line instead of a curve?
I don't know. My penmanship is not the greatest. There you go. Number 8, an angle that measures between 90 and 180. G, obtuse. Good. An unproven statement based on a pattern or observation. Conjecture. Good. C. If it measures exactly 180, what do we call that?
A right angle. A straight angle.
Straight angle. What's the letter for straight? Mine's M. Okay, sorry, I can't see it up on mine.
Oh, you can see.
Number 11, an example that shows a conjecture is false. Counterexample, I. If it measures, an angle is 90 degrees, what do we call it? Right angle, K. And then number 13 is H. I'll just put them all up there together. 13, let me see what it says. So yeah, part of a line, if it has 2 endpoints, that's a segment. Now, real quick, on most assessments, meaning quizzes and tests, we don't give you the vocab in one big giant section. You'll see lines that break it up. Like if there's a line here, that means that only the first 4 letters would go here. Only these go with these. That's not the case on the review. But if you see those dividing lines tomorrow, those are supposed to help you. So if it's saying like only A, B, C, and D are options, don't put J. You're automatically going to get it wrong. Okay? So be aware of the sectioning tomorrow. It should help you on the vocab. Any other questions 1 through 13? All right, so the next number 12. If we want ray BD, what point does that ray start at? B, and then it goes through D. So D should be a point farther down on the ray. Rays have 1 arrow. Segment AB. Segments have no arrows. They start at one point, they end at the other. What about lines? What? They just keep going. So arrow on this side goes through those 2. So it goes through Q, goes through R. And then number 15, angle QRS. So Q, R, and S. The order is important on that point. The letter that's in the middle has to be the point on the vertex, okay? This has to be R. And then Q and S, they could go either way. Number 16, describe the pattern, then state the next number in the pattern. So what's going on in this pattern? They're adding 3 each time, so the next number would be 22. Good. And the directions got cut off. These are actually the directions for this next page. So Be aware of that. Any questions up through number 16? 17 says, complete the conjecture. Provide 2 examples to support your conjecture. The product. Product means what? Multiplication. The product of any 2 negative numbers. Okay, so give me a negative number.
-2.
-2. Times. Give me another negative number.
-2.
-2. That gives me a positive 4. All right, give me another negative number.
-5.
-3. -5. That gives me positive 15. So they're all going to be positive numbers. This is where I always stop and say, okay, could I prove that wrong? Because sometimes, let's say you would have done -3 times -4 and you would have got 12. And you're like, well, maybe it's always an even number. But you could very quickly think of an example where you wouldn't get an even number. So I would always try to observe the pattern, but then also ask yourself if it makes sense. All right, number 18, we're supposed to show that it's false with a counterexample. So the statement says that all angles have a measure of 90 degrees.
So
What would a counterexample be?
I do it like a straight line, like a 180.
Yeah, draw any angle that's not 90 degrees. So here's an angle that's 180 degrees. Or you could write it out in words like acute angles measure between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. Okay? So you can give me the definition of an angle that's not 90 degrees, or you can draw me a picture of an angle that's not 90 degrees. Those would both be appropriate counterexamples. All right, answer each question using the given figure. Place the answer on the line provided. So 3 collinear points. Anyone?
HIJ.
H, I, and J are all on this line right here. Collinear just means same line. Name 4 coplanar points, so on the same plane. So yeah, the H, I, J were all on the same plane. Just add another one. Either K or M would be fine. Basically, don't use L because all the other points are on that plane. Notice there's a dot next to the K and a dot next to the M. Those are both points in this case. Sometimes there's a random letter off to the corner. That's the name of the plane. But if it does have a dot next to it, it's the point. Questions? All right, number 21, what's the distance, or what's the length, I guess it should read, for segment DE? Does that say 10 up there? I went too far. Okay, so if that's 10, the whole thing's 10. This part right here is 7. I want to know how long this guy needs to be. 3. Good. And you do that through subtraction. Okay? Number 22, we're using this figure right here. It says name the intersection of the 2 planes. So plane CDHI and plane EFIH. Planes intersect to form a what? Anyone remember? Two lines intersect to make a point. 2 planes intersect to make a line. Good. So look at where the 2 planes cross each other. They cross right here. Can you tell what the name of that line is? Yes. Now here is always the struggle. Everyone just wants to write that. Is that a line? No, that's 2 random letters that you just put next to each other. If you want to tell me that that's a line, you need the line symbol above it, and you need the arrows on the ends. Okay? Be careful with notation. 2 planes intersect to make a line. 2 lines intersect to make a point. What's the point in this one?
Vertex.
Point D. If you have a 33-degree angle, what would that be classified as?
Acute.
Acute. Just a cute little angle. If you have an angle that measures 145, what would you call it? Obtuse.
Mm.
26. This one is acute. It's less than 90. 27. Straight. Good. Don't call this a line tomorrow, okay? I saw a few people doing that yesterday. I agree. I mean, it is a line, but it's classified the angle. There's 4 types of angles, and line is not one of them. All right. 28. That one's a right. Good. Questions? I think that's the easiest section on this test. I'm hoping you guys all can do well on that one. We good? The test is tomorrow, yes. How do we name angles? By the points that are on the angles. Good. So you have to have the angle symbol, or you will get some points taken off. Angle what? E, F, G is perfect. When you're using 3 letters, you start on one of the rays, E, F, G. Or you could start on the other ray and say what?
G, F.
G, F, E, as long as F is in the middle because it's the vertex. Okay, so you could be done there. Or, since there's only one angle with vertex F in this diagram, you could simply call it angle F. So pick your 2 favorite answers of those 3 answers and you're good. Now, don't put acute. That's classifying. People were getting that confused last year. Naming it is using the letters. Classifying it is telling me what kind of angle it is. All right? It would be sad to miss those easy points because you're not understanding the directions. So if you get confused, just ask us. All right, number 30. QRS is one option.
SRQ.
Just R is an option because it's the only angle at vertex R. Or you can go the other way, SRQ. Good. Now, number 31 and 32, it might be easier for you to just get a protractor and measure the angle that you drew yesterday, or you can have one of us check it if you're unsure. But I'm going to just go ahead and scroll up and draw these on the board underneath. It's a little easier than using the iPad. So what you want to do is draw a ray first. It's sort of the reverse process of what we were doing last week when we were measuring them. So you draw a ray. Put this little T right on top of the ray. At the end, count up to the 30, mark it off, draw it in. Now, we did the reverse process last week. So I do agree that this is a little harder, but it's super easy to check yourself. Just lay it back down. And if it goes through the 30, you're good. And if it doesn't go through the 30, then you messed it up, you need to do it again. Okay? Same thing on the next one. We're going to start by drawing a ray. You put the end of the ray on the T. You put the ray going out the flat side. You count up to the 110. We're going to cross one of these 110s. If I put it there, it'd be an acute angle. That's not right. Go to the other 110. Connect them. Lay my protractor back down and see if it works. It's right through the 110, so I'm good. Okay? When we grade these, we will have a protractor. We will lay it on the top, and if it passes through the right part of the protractor, you get the points. So I strongly encourage you, after you draw it, to measure it again. Because you all did very well last week measuring them, and this is taking it kind of to the next step. So if you guys need help, we have 19 minutes left in class. That is for quiet studying or getting help with the protractors from one of us.
I can go across the hall too.
Okay. Do you guys have any questions?
I can go across the